my $17,500 mistake. This was something that I knew and I knew to avoid, but I did it anyways and lost $17,500 of commission because I went against this one rule. And that rule is make sure both decision makers are involved, or all decision makers are involved when on a listing appointment. Hey everyone, Willie Miranda with the Ultimate Real Estate Success Blueprint, and made a huge mistake not having all the decision makers at the actual listing appointment meeting. And it's a rule that I knew that I never wanted to break, and I did it only because I felt it would be okay to just deal with one of the decision makers, and it blew up my face. Cost me $17,500. So I wanted to share this one rule with you because I know agents do it all the time, and I know that I've seen agents recently do it where they've it's actually cost them money as well. But the story goes, I had a great listing appointment that I was actually referred into. She was interviewing 3 agents. She had already met with 2 agents, and I had the opportunity to be the 3rd agent to go in. And I had set the appointment up, had all the information ahead of time, had all the comps and my listing presentation. A pre-list went out to them ahead of time. I get to the appointment at 6 o'clock, right on time, with all my stuff. And when I get there, the wife, which was a very nice lady, says to me, "Hey Willie, come on in." And we go inside and, walk in the house. Where can I put my stuff down? Go through the routine. And she says to me, she says, "Hey, by the way, John, who's a CPA, John has to work late tonight. And so I'm just going to go ahead, I pretty much handle everything, and, I'll get back to John and let him know." Well, at that point, I hesitated, and I'm like, you know what? This is not good. Maybe I should just reschedule. But she was just so ready to go. Let's get this house going. They want to get on the market soon. And so I went ahead. I proceeded. So I went through the normal, walking through the house, going through all the comps, following my whole 14-step listing process, and gave her all the information, right? I gave her the price of the home, gave her our commission, gave her all the stuff that we were going to do on marketing, the whole strategy, and so that was it. So at the end of the conversation, she said, "This is great. Let me talk to John," right? So I couldn't get her to sign anything. She wasn't going to sign anything because John she had to talk to him. Even though she handles everything and John's just going to listen to what she says, I wasn't walking out of there with a listing paperwork for sure. So we end up, going home, and they think about it over the weekend. And she said, we're going to make a decision this weekend. I'll call you on Monday. So Monday morning, she gives me a call, and she says, "Hey Willie, we're going to go with the second realtor we met with. John he felt more comfortable going with that realtor versus you." And I said, "I never even met John." I said, "I didn't have the opportunity to meet with John. Can I ask you what made the difference?" And she said, "Well, honestly, the other agent said they could sell it for more money, and the other agent's commission was a lot lower." So I said to her, I said, "Did you talk to John about all the marketing that we're going to do for them to bring in top dollar and to go over the comps that we went over, knowing that the comps that we went over were very, very fair?" And she says, "Well," she goes, "I did go over that with John, but basically John asked, what's the commission? What does he think he could sell it for?" and made a decision based on that." So what's the rule? The rule is always meet with all the decision makers. And the reason for that is because my listing presentation went over all of our marketing. It went over everything that we're going to do to sell that house. And cost, which is commission, right? Cost is only an issue in the absence of value. And John didn't see the value that I was bringing to the table. He didn't meet with me. He didn't, again, people do business who they know, like, and trust. We never met, we never talked, we never went over my whole half-hour presentation of how we're gonna market that, all the testimonials. And I think, especially as a CPA with numbers, it would have made a lot more sense for him to do business with us. So John went with someone he knew, trusted. He was looking at only price and was only looking at, the commission. And they ended up listening with this person. And right there, I knew I screwed up. I should have waited to go back. So what can we have done? What can I learn? I always look at things like this. I said, what did I learn from this? And what I learned from this is that when I went there and she said, hey, John's not going to make it tonight, I should have just went through. Great. Let me go through. Let me walk through the house. Let me take some notes down. You got a beautiful home here. Let me work up some other comparables. And when is a good time for us to get back with John? I could have met with John over the weekend. I could have met with John, the next morning. But instead, I went with what she had said and felt pretty confident that she wanted to go with me when we actually met. So I would have done that. I would never have I would have made it a two-step appointment, just went through and took everything, and that didn't happen. So that cost me $17,500. The good news behind this is that it ended up sitting on the market for well over 30 days. She was very upset with the other agent because the other agent, within the first week, started hammering her for price reductions. She was non-responsive to her phone calls. She was not happy about that. The marketing that they promised was not given. And I guess, you get what you pay for, right? So she was very unhappy about that, but knew she was under contract. But the nice thing, and a happy ending to this, is that she bought another house and she called me. She had another house under contract, but it fell through with this other agent and decided she wasn't going to go with this other agent. So she called me and asked me to represent her on the buy, and we ended up selling her a very nice home. And then a few years later, she relocated out of the area and we sold it again for her. And we ended up referring her across to Texas. So the moral of the story is make sure you have all decision makers at any listing appointment that you go to, even on the buyer side. You want to have both decision makers, and you definitely want to two-step it if you have to, but don't make the same mistake I made by losing $17,500 in commission. So that's it. Hope you like that tip. Hope you like that rule. Scroll down below, leave a comment, and let's go get them this week.